now do your Ganesh Bhajan. Singing very good. After
Gauri Ganeshu Mamahesh Parvati Nandana Sri Ganesh Gauri Ganeshu Mamahesh Parvati Nandana Sri Ganesh Gauri Ganeshu Mamahesh Parvati Nandana Sri Sharanam Ganesh, 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 Nandana Ganapati Ganesh, Nandana Ganapati Ganesh, Gauri Ganesh, Sharanam Ganesh, Sharanam Ganesh, Sharanam Ganesh, Sharanam Ganesh, Sharanam Ganesh, Nandana Ganapati Ganesh, Nandana Ganapati Ganesh, Gauri Ganesh, Umamahesh, Parvati Nandana Shri 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 Ganesh, Gauri Ganesh, Parvati Nandana Shri Ganesh.
Prem se bolo Shri Adi Shakti Mata ki Jai. Sit down, everybody. Let's put our hands together as we will do Gita Dhyanam this morning before we do some offerings into the fire for the benefit of all that are gathered this morning before we do our discourse. Hari Om. Dear Lord, wherever your teaching is about to be chanted, wherever your prayer is going to be recited, this passage is chanted to uplift the individual that is about to hear it. We chant the dhyan of the Bhagwat Gita so that the person's intellect is sharpened and allow them to assimilate and to appreciate the katha that is about to come. Please allow me, because of sickness, because of age, because of circumstance, to be free from the troubles and the distraction that lay within my body. And for the little while, allow me to take in the benefit, the punyam of this prayer. As I offer myself now, having offered all the ingredients in puja, having journeyed here, please bless me. Om Parataya Pratibodhitam Bhagwat Narayanaya Swayam Vyasena Gratitam Purana Munina Madhye Mahabharatam Advai Amrita Varshinim Bhagavatim Ashtadhasha Dhyayinim Ambatvayam Anusadanami Bhagavata Gite Bhavadarshinim Namastute Vyasa Vishala Buddhi Pulada Vindayate Patra Netra Yena Tvaya Bharata Tvaila Purna Tvajwalito Jnanamaya Pradipa Prapana Parijata Ve Totra Ve Kaparinaya Jnana Mudraya Krishnaya Gitam Ritaduhe Namaha Sarva Upanishado Gavu Dugada Gopala Nandana Parto Vatsa Surid Bhukta Dugdam Gitam Ritamahan Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsa Chanura Mardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum Bhishma Drona Tatha Jayadrata Jala Gandhara Nilokpala Shalyagrahvati Kripane Vahani Karnena Vikala Kula Ashwatama Vikarna Gora Makara Duryodhana Vardini Soti Nakulu Pandavairan Raranyadi Kaivartava Keshava Parashara Vachana Saruj Mala Gita Ganda Gota Katakatam Nana Kayata Ana Kaikesara Harikatha Sambodha Bodhitam Loke Sajana Saptapade Mahamatid Pe Piyam Moda Bhuyodha Bharata Pankaja Kalimala Prajwalikto Shirase Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langhayate Girim Yat Kripatamaham Bande Paramanandam Madhavam Om Yam Brahma Varnindaruddhamaruta Stunvanti Divyaistave Vedai Sangha Prado Kramo Pranishade Gayantiyam Samaga Dhyana Vastaritargatena Mansa Pashyantiyam Yogino Yashyantam Navidur Sura Suraganadi Devaya Tasmai Namaha Iti Shri Gita Dhyanam Sarvapap Haram Divyam Pujitam Mangalam Padbhyo Namam Iti Shri Saptaha Bhagwat Dasmi Tithi Iti Shri Praschit Karampal Sarva Yajman Sarva Parivar Kasyap Gotra Yatha Shakti Manukam Nam Sankalpam Samarpitam Vishnu Bhagwan Ki Jai Vrindavan Bihari Lal Ki Jai. Now, before the crowd or any distraction come further, for those of you online, Sitaram and welcome. How much session this morning? 13th session of our Yagna. This morning we chant a couple of verses for Hanumanji and then we'll do a Havan collectively if anybody wants to join. Let's do the Havan first. Many people go to Yagna and they see that triangle with those 64 flags and the Chausat or 64 goddess that cause trouble. If you don't know the history of that form, these mothers, as we say, good and bad, come from God. So these expressions, these devis, are the ones that cause the food to spoil. The atmosphere in the prayer becomes very heavy. Heavy, not physical heaviness, but it makes the person lethargic and very lazy. It is as if the grains don't want to boil. To put it in a way for children to understand. You want to do the prayer, but I can't focus. It is as if the atmosphere is very depressed from an energy perspective. So when they were told to go and stay with Narsingh Baba, and we'll discuss that starting from today going forward in our discourse, we asked the goddess, please accept our little offerings and give us safe passage in our prayer. So please, those of you sitting over there, those of you looking on, whilst we say these prayers, if you've never heard the names of the 64, consider this. Dear ladies, please accept my prayer. My name is, I live at, today we're by Baba's house, for those of you viewing. I'm at my address, and we are offering, in the temple here this morning, we are offering simple ingredients, let's say ghee and grains and so on. But I'm also offering the prayer, and Uncle Vish, you lead for me. We're doing Yag. Bless everybody's lifespan. Protect the people that are cooking, boiling, handling fire. Bless everybody's feet, the footing, the stability. Mother, if you wish, because of calmness and shanti, this place could be comfortable, or this place could now become uncomfortable. If you allow us safe passage, this prayer, this Bhagwat will come and go. By your grace, it will go simple, and each person would be able to get the grace, the benefit, and blessings of your puja in this time. Today is the Dasmi day, dear mother. Today is the day before that Ekadasi is coming. And for that reason, we ask you, Sitaram, we ask you for your choices, grace, blessing, and permission to do your puja, to fast, to focus the mind, etc. Please hear this sinner's prayer. I am not perfect, I don't know all the mantras, but I am offering based on my guidance from my guru this morning. Please accept what we are offering, and please, Nandi, focus. Please accept what I am offering and help me with my trouble. I have sick. I am sick. I have financial problems. I have children trouble. I have grandchildren trouble. Pray from your heart, talking to mother, so that you would be able to see effective change, not in one person, but in every person's life. What you do here, you do for yourself. Let's pray together, everybody. Abhayitam purusham mahatvam sudasure rachitam padma padmam indo visutvam suryalokanatham agindevta abahanam samarpitam swaha mata swadha mata pujanam samarpitam agindevta ki jai. Bow to the fire, everybody, from where you are. Those of you at home, please continue to say as we get into it. I'll say the mantra and you can say Swaha. One of the send a message, find the prayer from them. Sarva papam haram divyam gangeyam nirmalam jalam achmannam maya dattam grahina parmeshwaram agindevta achmanyam samarpitam. As you bow after passing water around your feet, the fire. I'm saying it this way for those of you abroad, for those people this morning in Cambridge in particular, and you have your circumstance. Let's use the temple, use the yag, and use what we are doing, the offerings that we are making as we ask God for his, I'm using our word for children, for his mercy and magic. In Hinduism, there is different words for those things, but sometimes if I use Achman and so on, children might wonder what is that. For their purpose, I'm using simple language. Let's continue now. Chausat Yogini translates Yogini, the Devis, the goddess, as I said, that sometimes a person invite people, but in the same prayer that your intentions were good, sickness, premature death, blood loss, cuts, damage, vexing, different type of corruption, different type of distraction is going to happen because of the influence of these goddesses. Chausat means 64. Dear mother, as I understand, little bit more and more of you, please accept my offering this morning, and may you become gracious to all those that take part in this Havan offering now. Hari Om. So this is 64 mantras. So I'm going to say it a little quick for time purpose because I still have to read. And then you just help me say Swaha. Together, everybody. Hari Om Kali Nitya Siddhamata Swaha Om Kapalani Nag Lakshmi Shanti Swaha Om Kul Devi Swarandeha Shanti Swaha Om Kurukul Rasanat Shanti Swaha Om Virodhini Vilashani Shanti Swaha Om Viprachitha Rakta Priya Shanti Swaha Om Ugra Rakta Bhog Rupa Shanti Swaha Om Ugra Prabha Sukranat Shanti Swaha Om Deepa Mukti Rakta Deha Shanti Swaha Om Neela Bhukti Rakta Sparshwa Shanti Swaha Om Ghana Mahajagadamba Shanti Swaha Om Balaka Kama Sevita Shanti Swaha Om Matra Deha Shri Matra Deha Atma Vidya Shanti Swaha. Om Mudra Purna Rajat Kripa Shanti Swaha. Om Mita Tantra Kula Diksha Shanti Swaha. Om Mahakali Siddheshwari Shanti Swaha. Om Kameshwari Sarva Shakti Shanti Swaha. Om Bhaga Malini Tarini Shanti Swaha. Om Nitya Klina Tantra Prita Shanti Swaha. Om Berunda Tattva Uttama Shanti Swaha. Om Vani Vashni Shashini Shanti Swaha. Om Mahavageshwari Rakta Devi Shanti Swaha. Om Shri Shiva Duti Adi Shakti Shanti Swaha. Om Twarita Urdhva Vrita Shanti Swaha. Om Kula Sundari Shri Kamani Shanti Swaha. Om Nitya Jnana Swarupini Shanti Swaha. Om Neela Pataka Siddhartha Shanti Swaha. Om Vijaya Devi Vasudha Shanti Swaha. Om Sarva Mangala Tantrada Shanti Swaha. Om Jwala Malini Nagini Shanti Swaha. Om Chitra Devi Rakta Pujan Shanti Swaha. Om Lalita Kanya Sukrada Shanti Swaha. Om Daikini Madashalini Shanti Swaha. Om Daikini Paparashini Shanti Swaha. Om Laikini Sarvatanteshwari Shanti Swaha. Om Kaikini Nagantateshwari Shanti Swaha. Om Shaikini Mitra Rupini Shanti Swaha. Om Shri Hakini Manoharini Shanti Swaha. Om Tara Yuga Tara Prasad Idam Shanti Swaha. Om Shodashi Latika Devi Shanti Swaha. Om Bhuvaneshwari Matrini Shanti Swaha. Om Chinamas Yoni Vega Shanti Swaha. Om Bhairavi Satya Sukrini Shanti Swaha. Om Shri Dumvati Kapalini Naglakshmi Shanti Swaha. Om Matangi Kanta Yuvati Shanti Swaha. Om Kamla Sukla Samstiti Devi Shanti Swaha. Om Prakriti Brahmandri Devi Shanti Swaha. Om Gayatri Nitya Chitrini Shanti Swaha. Om Shri Mohini Mat Yogini Data Shanti Swaha. Om Saraswati Swarga Devi Shanti Swaha. Om Neela Saraswati Shanti Namah Swaha. Om Annapurni Shanti Swaha. Om Narsim Vama Devi Shanti Swaha. Om Shri Ganga Yoni Swarupini Shanti Swaha. Om Shri Aprajita Samarpita Shanti Swaha. Om Chamunda Pariyanaganataya Shanti Swaha. Om Varahi Satya Ekani Shanti Swaha. Om Kaumari Shakti Shayini Shanti Swaha. Om Indrani Mukti Nihantri Shanti Swaha. Om Brahmandi Anand Murti Shanti Swaha. Om Vaivashwat Mantare Vani Shashini Kal Roop Shanti Swaha. Om Megha Mata Shanti Pat Shanti Swaha. Om Shri Brahmandi Anand Murti Shanti Swaha. Vaishnavi Anand Murti Shanti Swaha. Om Shri Akash Devi Bhyo Namah Swaha. Om Vaishnavyai Satya Rupini Shanti Swaha. Om Maheshwari Parashakti Shanti Swaha. Om Lakshmi Parashakti Manu Shanti Swaha. Om, last one, Durga Sachidananda Shantipat, Chausat Jogini Shantipat, Sarva Yajman, Sarva Nam, Sarva Parivar, Sarva Punyapat. Dear God, as we make the final offering, my name, my address, my family name, the Gotra I belong to. If you don't know your goat, say Kashyap Gotra. Everybody comes from Kashyap. It's like a general thing. Kashyap Gotra, Keshava Nam, Gosain Parivad, like that. Follow that format. Dear God, having done this Shanti Kare, this Shanti part, as we walk closer and closer to the end of our Yag, may you please purify me in different ways. I'm offering myself. Please remove the sin, please remove the history, and in its place put blessedness, put protection. 27 times. Om, everybody whisper in volume. Om Bhuda Bhuva Swa Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Diyo Yona Prachodayat Swaha Om Bhurabhuvaswa Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Diyo Yona Prachodayat Swaha Om Bhurabhuvaswa Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Diyo Yona Prachodayat Swaha Om Bhurabhuvaswa Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Diyo Yona Prachodayat Swaha Om Bhurabhuvaswa Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Diyo Yona Prachodayat Swaha Om Bhurabhuvaswa Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Diyo Yona Prachodayat Swaha Om Bhurabhuvaswa Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Diyo Yona Prachodayat Swaha Om Bhurabhuvaswa Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Diyo Yona Prachodayat Swaha Om Bhurabhuvaswa Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Diyo Yona Prachodayat Swaha. Let him on the mic. Om, no, at the front one. Om Bhurabhuvaswa Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Diyo Yona Prachodayat Swaha Om Bhurabhuvaswa Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Diyo Yona Prachodayat Swaha Om Bhurabhuvaswa Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Diyo Yona Prachodayat Swaha Om Bhurabhuvaswa Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Diyo Yona Prachodayat Swaha Om Bhurabhuvaswa Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Diyo Yona Prachodayat Swaha Om Bhurabhuvaswa Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Diyo Yona Prachodayat Swaha Om Bhurabhuvaswa Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Diyo Yona Prachodayat Swaha Om Bhurabhuvaswa Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Diyo Yona Prachodayat Swaha Om Bhurabhuvaswa Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Diyo Yona Prachodayat Swaha Om Bhurabhuvaswa Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Diyo Yona Prachodayat Swaha Om Bhurabhuvaswa Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Diyo Yona Prachodayat Swaha Om Bhurabhuvaswa Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Diyo Yona Prachodayat Swaha Om Bhurabhuvaswa Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Diyo Yona Prachodayat Swaha Om Swaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat Swaha Om Bhurabhuva Swaha
Tatsaviturvarenyam
Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat Swaha Om Bhurabhuva Swaha
Tatsaviturvarenyam
Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat Swaha. Let's continue now with 5 offerings to Hanuman Baba with his 5 head. Om Namo Bhagavate Panchmukaya Purva Kapimukaya Sakala Shatru Samharakaya Namaha Swaha. Om Namo Bhagavate Panchmukaya Dakshanaya Mukhaya Karatala Vadanaya Narsimhaya Sakala Bhuta Pramatanaya Nama Swaha. Om Namo Bhagavate Panchmukaya Paschayma Mukhaya Garudanaya Sakala Sampatkaraya Vishwarahaya Namah Swaha. Om Namo Bhagavate Panchmukhaya Uttarmukhaya Adi Varaha Sakala Sampatkaraya Namah Swaha. Om Namo Bhagavate Panchmukhaya Idam Shri Manmaha Panchmukhaya Uttarmukhaya Adi Varaha Sakala Sampatkaraya Namah Swaha. Om Namo Bhagavate Panchachandraya Urdhvavaya Shri Panchmukh Hanumate Urdhvav Idam Urdhvav Mukhaya Hayagriv Sakala Jan Vashankaraya Nama Swaha. Om, just like the kavach for Vishnu Baba yesterday, today we do part of it. It's very long, part of it for Hanuman Baba. Om Anjani Sutaya Angushtabhyam Nama Swaha. Om Rudra Murti Tarjanim Byam Nama Swaha. Om Vayu Putra Mabhyam Nama Swaha. Om Agni Garbhaya Animekabhyam Nama Swaha. Om Ramadutaya Kanishtikabhyam Nama Swaha. Om Panchmukh Hanumate Karatala Karaprishtabhyam Nama Swaha. Om Sarvasmai Sarvabijaya Sarvabhut Atmano Shantihi Swaha. Everybody touch the ground and bow 3 times in front of you. If you could bend, if you could reach, if you're close to our wall, touch the wall at least. Om Shri Ramadutaya Anjaniyaya Vayuputra Mahabala Parakramanaya Sita Duk Nivardhanaya Lanka Dahanaya Karanaya Mahabala Prachandaya Falgunaya Sakalaya Kolahalaya Sakala Brahmandaya Idam Shri Vishnave Bhyonama Idam Shri Manmaha Shri Surya Bimba Palasevanaya Dushta Nirvantanaya Drushti Niklankrutanaya Sajivani Sajivatanganaya Lakshman Pranadata Mahakapisen Sahita Bhyonama Iti Shri Pavanaputra Hanumana Ki Jai. Bow to the fire. Pass your water around the fire before we get going in Katha. Just a couple of verses for those of you looking on. There is something. If you need this prayer, send me a message and I'll send it back for you. When people have problems, when people have prayers coming up, when people have auspicious things like wedding, get-together, gathering, and we all need protection and permission to do this prayer, the Hanuman Langu Astra is a powerful prayer where it was first chanted after Hanuman Baba burns the city of Lanka. The city of Lanka is chosen because of the blessed ground. Yesterday we were talking about the mud and how this mud became barren for the first time. Lanka is this potent city because going back to the Gajendra Katha, when the Makar, when the body is physically dead and the soul went to God and all of these nice things, Garud comes to digest the body of this elephant and this Makar. Lanka is defined as the place with 3 hills. Those 3 hills, Sitaram, was the 3 hills of bone from the body of Gajendra, the body of the Makar, and I can't remember the third form, but there's a third body. And when Garud sat, he sat in that space and he ate all the flesh as a carnivore. He destroyed the body and the bones remained there. And when Kabir went to build the city of Lanka, it is on that foundation it is built. When Hanuman goes to destroy, because what we hear in Ramayana is that the Lanka is built on pillars, but it's not pillars, it's hills, where they chained Shanidev at one point in a different discourse. When this prayer was chanted, the prayer says, just to give you an idea, in the first verse, O Hanuman, son of Anjani, please, with your strong, valorous form and force, take your tail and hit and remove all my suffering. The second one, my suffering. Third one, my suffering. Cure my eyes. Cure my head. O Akshay Kumar, O incarnation of Shiva, take away my sadness. Take away the plague upon my body. So this now, and I'm not going to do all the verses. It is 23 verses long. I'm just doing 3 verses. This morning, as we say our prayers, put your hand together before we begin this course. And we're praying, Hanumanji, just as you took that tail and you destroyed and burnt what couldn't be destroyed, the ground that comes from under this place called Lanka was so powerful. It was so great because of the bones of these devotees being in the ground. When it was time, however, for you to do your work and do your destruction, that tail was competent and capable. Today I ask you to bring your powerful tail, dear God, and beat all my suffering out of me, away from my family, depending on what type of suffering we have, mental, physical, illness, financial, anxiety, etc. Say your prayers, put your hands together. Devotees, if you have flowers, hold your flowers. Those of you at home, please put your hands together. Hanuman Anjani Suno Mahabala Parakramana Lola Langula Patyena Mamarti Nipaya Markata Markata Deepta Martanda Mangala Grasa Karakaha Lola Langula Patyena Mamarti Nipaya Om Akshaya Shanapanaya Pratakshaya Sanatanaya Idam Shriman Maha Akshay Pingaksh Stitija Suksham Yankara Lola Langula Patnena Mamarti Nipaya Sri Rama Charana Amboja Madhupayati Manasa Lola Langula Patena Mamarti Nipaya. Prem Sabalo Pawana Putra Numana Ki Jai. For those of you by the fire, you could pass your water. As we will now take the heat, everybody. All the pass water already? Right. Take the heat, everybody, and ask that Hanuman. Ask the goddess. Today is the 10th day of the fortnight. Please sit on my body. Those of you at home, say your prayers and get set now as we go into our RT. We go into our text. Our discourse this morning taken from the 7th skand of Bhagwat. Sitaram, Sitaram. You see, I was waiting for you. I was waiting for you. We're now going to start. Everybody, let's all stand as we do short RT this morning. As we wave the divine light, for those of you looking on again, please, please say a prayer. It's a wonderful thing to have yagya. It's a wonderful thing. But that yagya has to come to me. It has to help me at my personal. And the step one to do it is your prayer. How you talk to God. Everything we're talking here, especially this morning with this discourse, no matter the trouble, dear God, you have to help me. I have feet. Sajam cha varti sanyuktam grahina yojitam mayam deepam grihana devesham trilokyat mirapaham. Jai Jai Bhagavata Bhagavan ki hai aarati.
Papiyon ko paap se hai taarati. Bhagavad Bhagavan ki hai पंचम वेद निराला हरिया देवाला ये अमर ग्रंथ ये मुक्ति पंथ ये पंचम वेद निराला नौ ज्योति जगाने वाला हरि
ज्ञान यही वरदान यही,
हरि ज्ञान यही वरदान यही जग के मंगल की आरती पापियों को पाप से है तार दी जय जय भागवत भगवान की है आरती पापियों को पाप से है तार दी ये शांति गीत पावन पुनीत पापों को मिटाने वाला मिटाने वाला ये शांति गीत पावन पुनीत पापों को मिटाने वाला हरि दर्शन दिखाने वाला ये सुख करनी है दुख हरनी
है सुख करनी है दुख हरनी, ये
मधुसूदन की आरती पापियों को पाप से है तारती जय जय भागवत
भगवान की है आरती।
पापियों को पाप से है तारती ये मधुर बोल जग पंड खोल सन मार्ग दिखाने वाला बेगरी को बनाने वाला ये मधुर बोल जग पंड खोल सन मार्ग दिखाने वाला बिगड़ी को बनाने वाला श्री राम यही घनश्याम यही श्री राम यही घनश्याम यही प्रभु की महिमा की आरती पापियों को पाप से है तारती जय जय भागवन भगवान की है आरती पापियों को पाप से है तारती भागवत
भगवान की है आरती।
पापियों को पाप से है तारती पापियों को पाप से है तारती पापियों को पाप से है तारती
ओ राधा राधा कृष्ण राधा राधा
राधा कृष्ण राधा
ओ राधा राधा कृष्ण राधा
राधा राधा कृष्ण राधा
राधा कृष्ण राधा
राधा कृष्ण राधा
राधा कृष्ण राधा
राधा कृष्ण राधा
ओ राधा राधा कृष्ण राधा
राधा राधा कृष्ण राधा
कृष्ण कृष्ण कृष्ण
कृष्ण कृष्ण कृष्ण
कृष्ण कृष्ण कृष्ण
कृष्ण कृष्ण कृष्ण
राधा राधा कृष्ण राधा
राधा राधा कृष्ण राधा
राधा राधा कृष्ण राधा। Vrindavan Bihari Lal ki Jai. Everybody please have your seat. Let's put our hands together as we do. Opening mantra. For those of you that came in after, for those of you now joining, let's pray together. Om Gajananam Bhutaganadisevitam Kapeta Jambu Umasutam Sho Namami Viganeshwara Sarvamangalamangaliye
Shive Sarvada Sadike
Sharanye
Trayambike Gauri
Narayani
Namostute
Guru Brahma
Guru Vishnu
Guru Devo
Maheshwara
Guru Sakshat
Param Brahma
Tasmai Shri
Guru Namah.
Let's do the 12 syllable mantra together, everybody. But before we do it, make sure, simple prayer, say your prayers. Dear God, it says that when the person chant this mantra, our entire lifetime, when you ill-treat elders, when you made the mistake and you ill-treated animals, when you ill-treat children, this mantra is competent to burn away those sins. Om Namo
Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo
Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo
Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Vrindavan Bihari Lal ki jai. Redhi Siddhi Data. Let me just pray. Siddhi Sadhana Vadana Vadana Sumiro Barambar Madana Kadana Kilalako Ganapati Kripa Nidhan Jnana Khani Ananda Bhavanam Dehu Mohi Baradan Varano Bhasha Bhagavatam Jai 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 Jagadisha Sevata Shesha Mahesha Ja Mahimamita Beva Mahimamita Beva Veda Veda Janata Rahim Riddhi Siddhi Data Siddhi Sadhana Vadana Bhadana Sumiro Barambar Sumiro Barambar Madana Kadana Ki Lal ko Vrindavan Bihari Lal ki jai. Devotees, yesterday as we completed our fourth day of reading, our 12th session, by virtue of last night's discourse, we reached where in the daytime Sitaram Panditji, Sitaram everybody. We did where Indra is going to get a shrap because of how he poorly treats his guru at the beginning. And because, and I'm summarizing, of this newfound relationship with this replacement guru, or what we call Vidya Guru, the person, in a sense, the person cheats Indra. Vishwarup, the son, we heard the name Twashta, and that was the father of Vishwarup, the person who says, I will give you my son to be a Pandit. But many people wouldn't know the form, but people pray to that form because that is the architect. He is also called Vishwakarma. He is the person who builds great things, great weapons for the devatas. So as the Katha went on, Vishwarup, because of his mother's relationship to the daityas, he feels sorry for them and he does not want them to suffer. So whilst the yagya and the puja is going on, he does pray on behalf of Indra, and he says, this one, when you go Havan and you hear Om Shri Indraya, Indra Na Mama, that part Na Mama, this is not for me, this is for Indra. And he did offerings unto God, the higher forms of Vishnu Baba, on behalf of Indra. But when he went now to do different offerings later on in the puja, just like what we were doing with those powerful 64 forms, instead of he saying, this is offered on behalf of Indra, I am saying this prayer on behalf. The Pandit says the mantra, but the Pandit is saying the person Rasi name, the family name, the address they live at, and this prayer, I'm saying the mantra, but the blessings and the benefit must flow to the sadhak, the person doing the prayer or the vrat. In this case, instead of he pray for the person who doing the prayer, the person who wearing the ring, then doing the puja, he praying for the enemy of that person who is elsewhere. And Indra heard the deviation in the protocol, and he drags out his weapon, and in an effort to stay the mantra from being chanted, this mantra that would have given, after all the ritual was done, that would have given supremacy to Indra and his side. Now, instead of the purpose of the prayer being for that kind of benefit, the Vishwarup wants to give the supremacy to the demonic form, the Daityal side, the Danav side. So Indra takes the decision in that moment to cut the head, kill the person, to stop the utterance of the mantra. And we heard at length what that sin caused. Amongst others, this formation of the menstrual cycle, where the issues started. That is the history, that discourse we did yesterday. Why we don't submerge certain things in the seawater, why we don't put seawater in the kalsa when we have prayer, etc. We went through when people are doing, let's say, prayers, and I'm getting 9 type of twigs, wood for the hawan. What type of wood is not to be used for just to keep it simple? The tree that when you cut it gives off that white sap, like shatine tree, etc., that is not to be used. And we talked about how unfortunate in this example, when we talk about the ignorance of people nowadays, people by that definition, pitch pine is like a double whammy of bad. It secretes the oil and then it gives you very black, dense smoke. Those 2 parameters are the parameter for good wood to come into the Hawan Kun. So if you burn tulsi, if you burn mango, the wood does not leak oil or gum. It does not give you black smoke, it gives you white smoke. So it was a nice shot, a nice example of how I'm doing prayer, I'm doing Hawan, but I could be doing it in a less than scenario, not as good, not as blessed. As we progress, Raja Parikshit asked, I heard when they destroyed the sun now, they created the same Vishwakarma gets very upset with Indra, and he creates Vrita, this demon from the fire. We heard how he offered the intestines, how he offered the blood, the gorish Balidan type of prayer. And he prays to this form of fire called Hayagriv, not Hayagriv, Havyavad Agni, We did the history of the 3 types of Agni, the 3 little pigs that came from the Varaha form in that discourse. Why is it this fire is created? I've heard people say, and I'm answering based on a question, how come people doesn't want to lay a strand of hair, a piece of sweat or spittle, go in the hawan, but when you go on the cremation ground, a whole head of hair is being offered. In a different type of prayer, people offer hog, dog, chicken, goat, etc. How is it the fire is the receptacle to burn and carry these type of offering? But in simple language, one is clean, one is not. And the answer was the 3 sons of Varaha and Prithvi were 3 little pigs. And before Lord Vishnu left in that form, he says, I want my boys to be immortalized. So when the person is doing worship and they invite, we have Dakshin, Agni, Havyavad and Kravyavad and different forms that accept different things. We do pure prayer here. There's a fire that offers, we put salt food and we burn the salt food. There's a fire where people offer, as I said, carcass, the body of the human, but also you could cremate different type of animals in that fire. The bone, etc. is acceptable. And because of that, this is how it is done. When all of that hawan was finished, from the fire comes out this huge monster of a man called Vrita. When Vrita, long story short, Vrita and Indra fight, and you hear about Indra is guided by Lord Vishnu. I can't beat the guy. What could I use? He says, go and make weapons out of the bones of somebody named Dadichi. And I explain how, when you look at a Purohit or the Pandit that is pulling the energy from the fire, putting it on his body, and then giving it away, compared to the sadhu who is doing the prayer, pulling the energy, but he does not do prayers for other people. He doesn't give it away. You don't touch his feet. You don't go and interact with his energy field. So this person, Dadichi, had never done prayers for anybody. His worship is personal worship for himself. So his body is full, charged with this prayer. So when he asks, when Indra says, Lord Vishnu, send me, I don't know if you'll give me this. But when he asked for the body, he gave up the life. He let them use the skeleton, make the weapons. And now when they fought Vrita, if you ever seen the Indian movie, and I'm just summarizing, Indra is able to cut off the 2 hands, then the 2 legs. He cuts him down. And in the moment, after Pandita Bedinan had chanted the Narayan Kavach for us, Indra is said to still have that kavach on his body. And the only thing, this no man hand, he's like this, no hands, he cannot fight. He threw himself, mouth open wide, and he swallowed Indra whole in an attempt to stop him. But because of this kavach or this armor that he was wearing, he couldn't kill him. And Indra cuts the belly of Vrita, comes out and takes the neck. But before he killed him, Vrita was able to call on Vishnu Baba and beg that I lived a horrible life, please help me. So in our last night discourse, before we heard from all the pundits that were here, the question Parikshit says, how is it again sinful people are getting this opportunity to meet with the Lord and then get the salvation? Who is this Vrita? And we heard of Raja Chitraketu and how he had gone after living a life praying for children, burning, praying, learning, developing. We heard from a spirit in that discourse how the spirit says, imagine Narad Muni in a synopsis form. Narad Muni says, look, your mother and father crying for your spirit, show yourself and talk to them, calm them down, let them know, O soul who now leave this body, give them some consolation, give them some hope. The soul appear like a spirit from invisible, poof, he become visible. He says, show me my mother and father, and which birth, in which cycle, in which time were they my mother and father? Because I've been going and coming for so many yug for such a long time. I really don't recall every birth and every person I'm attached to. The reality is the body is there, these relationships and these feelings are there so long the body is there. But when the body is destroyed, when it goes, that feeling isn't there, because now it is time for the wheel to continue turning. The work must go on. Parabd karma is the karma I'm coming with We discussed at length the reason why people are born with deformities. People have different traits, goodness, blessings, gifts, as they would say. For example, for we to understand this morning, you know, it have some people who have an extra appendage on their hand, maybe on this side or this side, an extra finger or extra thumb, so the hand has 6. That is a sign that the person was able to do great amount of Saraswati Vrat in the form of Nila Saraswati. The art when a person cannot talk properly, or they are stuttering or stammering, or they cannot, you know, they have to speak like a teacher or a lecturer, and the words cannot come quickly enough to them. The eloquence is lacking. And that form of Saraswati, Nila meaning blue or dark form, physically dark. When they master that beads mantra, the person is born with this extra appendage symbolizing to the parent. They may not do good in maths or secular studies, but in spirituality, their voice will resonate. So if you look, for example, to be practical, if you look at people who perform, for example, last night we had Shivanand Maharaj. Shivanand Maharaj has that extra finger. And in this man's example, in my friend's example, the mother sees it on the child. But in our Dharma, we do not ridicule somebody in that way. Let me say, in Western civilization, anything that takes you off the normal, as we just say, oh, you have a cattle boil, you have a bump on your head, you have a problem, you're a flawed person, you are less than for it. In Hinduism, we say you have a mark on your body. That's a divine trait. The person who has, for example, watch the picture of the Buddha. You see this thing here, the earlobe? Some people don't have none. That is a sign of a stupid person. The person's mental capacity cannot have. Bigger the earlobe, watch the picture. In Buddhist murtis, the longer this thing is, the bigger this is, it is better. And you find that in the Karna Veda Sanskar, when they're puncturing these ears for the first time, numbing a nerve, activating something in the child's head. When this is large, that is a sign to mother and father, give this child academics. He will handle, she will handle it good. But in our culture, everybody know we grew up here in all kind of names and school names, bully names. Oh, your hair's big, you're flapping your ears in school. Think about how the things that God is telling the person, we twist it from a positive thing, encouraging this child, giving this child a platform to perform, to now, oh God, look how my ears did. So we have a life with proliferation of things like plastic surgery, or at a minimum, self-hate. The first thing you start with, I have an extra finger on my hand, I have to go and remove that. Instead, in using my friend as an example, the mother saw the finger. She talked to the godfather. The godfather says, you see that, Professor Adish in his case, you see that extra finger? That means that child will excel. At what? Don't let him do maths. That is his weakness. English will be his strength. In his case, the mother said, I want you to learn music, but you will go and study literature. He has a bachelor's of science in English. He was an English teacher in secondary school first. That is his field. The mother says, you will take to the process and the progress of music, not only to play as a supporting person, but you will teach it, you will excel. Please teach your child. Let this, I'm saying it, a flaw become your strength. Perception is important. If you understand your Dharma, your body is a message, a written message from God. Please let your child do this. Please be cautious with your child. They have this problem. They may have a dispensation to have weakened blood. They may have a heightened temperature. They may be more prone. Heightened temperature, go in the sun. Some people, when they get angry or they get hot playing the cricket, you start to see red. Some people get yellow. Depending on the undertone of the person, it says about their character. Depending when you press the nail and you see the color, whether red or yellow, it means this person has come with that parabdha karma. Parabdha karma, the flaws, using the finger as an example, etc., is my past karma. Whatever I do in my last life, that is how God make me in this life. We'll hear more about it in this way in today's katha. That little boy, the soul stood there and he explained, because this body is just made like the finger, if you follow me, based on karma, I cannot have attachment for this. This done, this body is dead, time to get more karma to burn now. Next body, we move on. The same people that was crying last night, Chitraketu and his wife, seeing their child die, after you listen to this common sense approach, very cold, the same child saying, I'm not sitting here crying for you, I don't know why you're crying for. We today in this meeting, we are family. But the same two souls will meet again somewhere in the sansar, and we will be enemies. I will be the dog, you will be the owner, and then we go again, and I'll be the fig tree, and the same dog will come to number one on the fig tree. That is the reality of our relationship. There is no long-term bond. When you look at it like that, mom, dad, and he's still there talking to whoever, whichever one was my mother, your concept is very wrong. With that, the parents took solace, stopped crying, did the ritual, and as if now, no feelings, burn the body, close off the press. The soul went his way, they went theirs. And eventually, Chitraketu reached to the heavenly regions. And when he reached there, time passed, and one day he insults Durga. Shiva had mother on his lap, Parvati Mata, and he says, you see, you're a hypocrite. Long story short, you look like a sadhu with your hair, with that matted locks. You don't have the vanity, but now you're holding on to wife like a householder, and you're even more emboldened. You're doing this holding and touching in front of people. A normal person would keep this private moment private. And the goddess, Shiva starts to laugh. The goddess, she gets confused. Why are you laughing? Why are you talking in this way? And she puts a shrap on him. Regardless of your foundation, you're talking like a demon. Go be born as a demon. So he became Vrita in last night's katha. And this is why he is able to meet with Lord Vishnu's end. When he left, she turns to Shiva and he says, that person just come in your house and insult you. Why are you laughing? He says to her, goddess, you should know better. That is a great bhakt of Lord Vishnu. And this little Leela you just saw here is the Maya of Lord Vishnu. Things happen for his wish. And in this play, we just got played so that that devotee could meet with his maker and get the salvation. We were just playing a little part in a bigger scheme. He said, I saw it. I see my ability. When you see Shiva is japping, he is watching Vishnu work, create, make. Every time Parvati Mata comes and says, why are you, if you are God, when you sit meditating, when your fingers are using different mudra, who are you praying to? What are you doing? And every time the answer is the same. I go to see my Vishnu. I go to see how amazing, without purpose, he's creating, he's watching his creation. And the magic, I use an English word, the magic that is unfolding, that is the part where Shiva describes on every strand of hair of his body, universe, planets, season, different things are flowing, literally, like how we sweat from every pore. The creation is coming out of him. And I stand up and I just get to admire, oh, that is what happening by the elbow, that is what happening under his arm, that is what is breathing out his body. And it is amazing. And because he is time, I get to enjoy the passage of time in Vishnu. When Mother heard this and she understood the love and the respect, the attraction that Shiva had for the magnificence of Lord Vishnu, she stayed quiet. And in it, we heard last night that the person who is able to recite, listen, cause somebody else to listen to that discourse, when the time comes for us, you would not become deluded. You wouldn't get distracted. The person could be saved from the worst form of grief, anxiety attack, fear complex. We talked about all the benefit. Get up in the morning, read the Katha, let it play in your home. When today we have technology, this same discourse like the Mohini discourse, and the person is fighting in that example for their marriage, to keep the husband straight, to keep the wife straight. Let's be frank, in Kali Yuga, he talks about how people will be swayed. So when Shiva wants to go and look for Vishnu there, just as how he wants to go and look for Vishnu in Ram form, just as how he wants to go and look for Krishna in that avatar. When Shiva went to look for Mohini form, to be honest, the seminal fluid, the man fluid, the semen fell. And he says, this is where gold in the ore, in the veins of Mother Earth, this is where it originated, gold and silver. And when it was done, the prayer that Shiva utters to beg Lord Vishnu to show me the form, Vishnu turned around and said, when people are unfaithful, when people become deluded, as you were just now, Shiva, when they say this prayer, when they go over this katha, where you and I had this little lila, they will be saved from the madness that lust and perversion will cause in Kali Yuga. The person gets so blind, they get carried away with this, and they reach that point, there's no return. But let's say a mother has a problem with their child or grandchild. Oh God, look how this person get carried away with the wrong girl or boy, vice versa. Is there a prayer? Yes, there's a prayer. It worked for Lord Shiva. It brought him back to his best sense. In the same way you practice, it will work for you. Prem Sabalo Mahapati Mahadeva Ki Jai. As we enter now, this morning in our little talk, Parikshit starts off just where we closed. How is it that everybody, yesterday's discourse, today's discourse, going forward, it seems as God comes on the earth to attend to bad people. It seems that in all your stories, Guruji, whether you talk about Vrita, if you talk about Kalnemi taking form as Kans, Ravan, everybody, it seems that the only reward is to become a vicious and vile person. It seems there is no reprieve for goodness. The first thing that you'll come across when reading this discourse, every person is good. Good people make mistakes. That mistake will cause karma. That punishment causes the person to become pure. The punishment that these bad people are going through leads them to interact with Vishnu. Vishnu purifies the person and keeps the soul. But if in your mind, the concept is Ravan's soul is, let me just say, black, dark, ugly, stained. But somebody like Sri Ram's soul, a goodly person, Sudama's soul, is different. It looks better. It looks clean, to say a word, clean. The truth is the soul is the same in both persons. But because of the karma, some people have patience. Some people don't. Some people have long life. Some people don't. Some people have an attraction to doing puja. Some people don't. Some people love to play and sing. Some people don't. The traits that make up inside you, what you like and what you don't like, is also your karma, just like the things that make up the extra finger or not. Keshava in this life will never play a violin like Shivanand. And Shivanand will never want to fold his foot and do prayers and be attracted to learning about the Havan and doing all that type of prayer the way I would. Everybody has a strength and a weakness. When you hear these discourses, for example, in South India, they don't ridicule this person called Bali, you know. We're going to hear about Prahalad just now. Prahalad's grandson is Raja Bali, the one where the dwarf put the third footstep on top of his head. They don't hate he like how we just ridicule Ravan. He was a good person doing yagna, helping people, lifting his people, and somebody came and attacked him. That is how they look at it. Till today, when you hear about Raj Bali helping Krishna, because we wear that string, if you listen to the Pandit's mantra, just as you tie the string for Raj Bali, tie a string for me and protect me, please. So the concept sometimes of who is good and who is bad, that is subject to maybe the Pandit talking or our own interpretation. In the same way, Parikshit wants some clarification about this. And he asked, tell me, how is it there is good and bad, but God, Lord Vishnu, comes to only reward, to take the soul of the bad people, the Kans, the Ravan, etc. Please explain that for me. Is God partial? Is he to help the bad student in the class? Or is he impartial and equally he helps everybody? What is happening in the schoolroom, in the classroom, you have 30 children and you have good children, and then you have one trouble, one child that he really come to test all of it. The poor teacher in a trap because you're going to give that child more attention. So now the good child is the trouble. Because, well, it makes sense, I behave good. If I behave bad like he, what? You only have eyes for that person. Is God like that? Or is God able to divide himself equally for everybody? Let's hear what he replies to him. Shiva Om Shakti Om Hari Om Narayanaya Krishnaya Narayanaya Krishnaya Paramatmaya Namo Namah 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 Matri Vyaso Ye Shishupal Dantavaktrascha Pandava Ye Pratha Danta Ye Pradho Vishwa Shrapya Padauti Narayanaya Krishnaya Paramatmaya Namo Namah Narayanaya Krishnaya Paramatmaya Namo Namah. Vishnu Bhagwan ki Jai. He says you have mentioned different names. You've spoken about Ravan and different people that seem to have this unholy history, but they get salvation, mukti, at the end. He says, but it has a backstory. They have karma that is bringing this meeting to make it possible. In this example where you are asking about Ravan, you've mentioned Ravan more than once. Narad Muni once explained this history. Let me go into the Hiranyakashipu, going into Prahalad, why these things unfolded. What was the cause? What makes Prahalad good? What makes Hiranyakashipu bad? Why did this enmity with Lord Vishnu come? Why is it that they had this force of hate towards Lord Vishnu? Please listen. When it starts with the two doorkeepers of Lord Vishnu, in Vaikunt, imagine at the front door, there are two people, two personalities, Jai and Vijay. They restricted entrance to 4 sons of Brahma. They look like little children, wearing just a little loincloth, covering their private area. But these babies are about 5-6 years in looking form, but their souls are eternal, very old. Till today, when we are doing Rishi Tarpan, we call their names Sanatan, Sanat Kumar, etc. It is because of one of that brother's pronouncement, you will hear people say, Satya Sanatan Dharma Ki Jai. It is rooted in that, the eternal one. These 4 came to look for Lord Vishnu. But Jai and Vijay, seeing them as 4 children, just want to walk through the door and go where they want. They stopped him. And Vijay in particular says, stop, 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 3 times. And when he did it, the eldest one, Sanak, says, because how you spoke to us, not knowing who we are, you have recited that obstructive language, those words, 3 times. Go and be born in the forms of demonic people when people do not know how to address senior people, elders, gurus properly. When the person speaks like this, just by speaking, you have not harmed, hit, or hurt us. But because of your disrespect, go and be born from the wombs. When someone says you are working towards the womb you come from, go and be born from the womb of demonic people. Remain in that form until such time these 3 births are complete. And then, when all your corrupt karma is washed free, return to your posting. But learn the lesson that is going to be taught to you. When this was pronounced, they are born first to Diti, the big brother. Vijay, he is coming as Hiranyaksh. The second brother comes as Hiranyakashipu. In their next janam, the big brother comes as Ravan. The second brother comes as Kunkaran. This is where we have a little deviation. Plenty people think Kans is an incarnation of Ravan, and that's not so. Kans is the reincarnation of the person called Kalnemi. When we did the fight after they turned the ocean, we hear where that animosity between Vishnu and Kalnemi started. These 2 brothers now come forward, Parikshit, from Ravan Kumkaran time to big brother is Sisupal, the person who ridicules Krishna, insulting him, and Krishna he begs him, watch your tongue, watch your tongue, watch your tongue. And eventually in Mahabharat Katha, he does damage him. Dandavaktra is the reincarnation of the younger brother. And when Krishna takes them, as you've just said, he does take their soul, their Jiv Atma, is allowed to go into his body. That type of sayoj, that type of mukti then, there are 4 types of mukti, liberation, is the highest form. The one where you're never coming back. There are some forms of mukti where you go to heaven, for example, but then after exerting all your good karma, you have to come back into the creation. This is the one where the person goes, loses their identity. There's nothing separate from Lord Vishnu and themselves. Based on this, please, Parikshit recites the question. Before you go forward, I understand how that play off. Please tell me the history of Hiranyakashipu. Says, tell me, I want to know now, all the things you're talking about. Tell me how. What was the history? What's the problem of Hiranyakashipu? He says to understand Hiranyakashipu's enmity with Lord Vishnu, the history of that man. The first thing you have to understand, verse 1, chapter 2 of Skand 7. His big brother, the person he loves the most, with the traits of being a great governor, politician, is that the form of Vishnu Baba here, with the boar head, which creates things like the kush grass, which created the 3 types of Agni, when he is married to Prithvi, destroys Hiranyaksh. Hiranyakashipu now, imagine 2 children grow up together and they have that filial love between siblings. And I know that man incarnate to kill my brother. Step 1, at a minimum, people who are based in emotional prayer are going to pray for revenge. They pray for justice, but justice to damage the aggressor in this example. And that is what is going to happen here. He says when the person had died, the katha begins where the body, the lifeless body of Hiranyaksh is being cried over. They're bawling over him. His wife, the Hiranyaksh, his wife, Rusha Bhanu. Rusha Bhanu is bawling. The sons of Hiranyaksh are with the mother, trying to console the mother. In this, let me say, post-death moment, the brother-in-law, who is Hiranyakashipu, comes to tell to tell the sister-in-law to please have faith. Please don't give up. Don't cry like this. Do your rituals. Do the prayer. Remember, we think sinful people don't pray. He says, do your prayer properly so that my brother could find peace. My brother could be at peace. He will find happiness. You love him. Please do the best for him so that there is no more attachment to pain and trouble. Let's hear what happens when Hiranyakashipu starts to talk to her. Sita Ram 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 Tamatarana Rupamanuditi Chajanigira Shalkayati Idamaya Jagaishwaryati Vaya Putta Sharira Sauchiyatam Sita Rama 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 Sita Rama 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 Sita Rama 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 Sita Rama 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 Bhutanama Mahita Samyayati Pranaye Suvrata Daitya Shatrate Sita Rama 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 Sita Rama 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 Sita Rama 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 Sita Rama 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 Ishate Priyatam Yogayati Supriti Shati Vinashlokiyatam Sita Rama 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 Sita Rama 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 Sita Rama 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 Sita Rama 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 Vishnu Bhagwan ki Jai. He says, oh sister-in-law, you know, we are taught from when we were children, seeing different members of our family fight, die, live, die. The spirit, as I was taught by my father, the spirit of my brother is no longer in this form. When we were standing over the body of Drishta, Santapana, Vrikha, different people, great warriors, great people, had many victories in the battle. We were taught then about this teaching. Today I repeat it for you. It is wrong. It is a sign of ignorance when a person holds to the constant thought that the soul is the name of the person. Meaning, we know this deceased is Hiranyaksh. I know when Keshava died, his name was Keshava. But the mistake sinful people will make in the age of Kali Yuga thinks the soul name is Keshava. When people are praying, the kind of corruption, let me forget some of the examples that he's about to give. He gives an example of somebody named Suyagya. They go and they do the prayer. But the family is doing the prayer in a very attached way, meaning, and you see it more now than before. If I ask you now, so and so dead in your family, God forbid, and you're doing the Gita part, who is the prayer for? Well, the prayer is to Lord Krishna, but I don't want the blessing, Baba. Let the blessing go towards my relative, my aji, my nani, whatever. Okay. Have you ever gone to a prayer, Bandara type, outside bit, inside bit now? And on that bedi where we say Gita part or part way, to do the procedure, to do the Charahawe or the gifting of the Bhagwat Gita and the other things, let's say the prasad, I am putting the deceased pitya on the bedi. Think what I'm telling you. So God is God. I have God on my bedi. We lipe the bedi based on our conversation when Prithvi gets the name Prithvi. The first time the cow takes the form, where Krishna has to make the promise, when I come back on the earth as Krishna, I will caress you, I will drink from your breast, and I will pull the milk from your body. So Vishnu is feeding off you, O mother, so you will be happy. You will be secured in this universe as paramount. When that whole discourse was running, we hear that if I have to make an altar at a minimum, for example, where they're doing Hawan over there, it is a tiled surface. But on the tiled surface, I'll put gobar. Just mark this spot purified now because of the cow product, to be making it fit to invite a devta. If somebody asks you, you're the Hindu, where does lipe bedi for? For it to look nice? No. He says, wherever worship, wherever the devta is being called, you go to a funeral and you see the lipe tile, concrete, pitch, for example. Only then invite the devta. On the bedi, I've liped. So Krishna could come and sit down. Sit down. This Murti, let me just pretend. My friend is on the bedi, I'm doing his prayers. Good. Why I put in the pitya, the deceased on the same level as God for? You're the Hindu in Kali Yuga doing Gita part. All right, let me go further now. So I'm putting it in a way for those of you at home to understand. This is the only way we get change. We have to start to touch on the mistakes we make in prayers. If this is my bedi, and I have my altar, and I have my Christian, everybody seen me? And I put my deceased pitya on the same level, same, same authority, same, you put the king at a higher level, the worker at the lower level. But I'm putting the person who is in need of help, my Aji, on the same level. And what the Pandit could do, say the mantra, put Chandan for Krishna, put Chandan for your Aji Pandit. Since when am I praying for disease? And they just tell me I'm doing Nadira, and I'm doing prayers for Krishna to help the helpless. That soul is in a condition, I'm offering Pinda day in, day out, to help the soul along its travel. That soul cannot physically hold her flowers and say, Krishna boy, I had to move, this is for you. Simple language for children. I can't do that. Why are you holding on to this identity? The person is helpless. You are holding on to this. So now Kali Yuga is plain. And you will see, I have gone to all kind of prayers in my time. And Aji, Krishna, Arpan, Aji, I find my tea here, the Parsad touching Aji Pitye, Sindur, Saffron with Aji living Sadwine lifestyle, husband dead, meaning widow now, for example. But I put in Sindur and I put in the Pitye. You ever see people do that? You doing the Pitya worship for God, follow me, I want you to understand the confusion when somebody says Kali Yuga, look at the craziness we just do. Not somebody else. I am doing it. I am guilty. And you have to see the mistake in order to fix something. If you don't see a sore in your foot, you will never take antibiotic. Agreed? If I go now, simple language, and I put in, it have somebody, based on what we just hear, the soul loses the attachment. The soul is getting ready to give up the attachment. The soul wants to go. It wants to move on. Everybody wants to go to God. What you doing worship for dead? What are you really doing? What are the Pandit doing? Pandit Adesh, you hearing me? Make sure you don't get catch with this, That bedi is for God. That altar is for God. What? You don't remember your Aji face? So a Pandit told me once, Pandit, I'm putting the picture there so that they will remember the deceased. It's a memorial. Stop. That is Christianity. That is not Hinduism. In a Christian service, they will put the picture of the deceased in the church, and they may put flowers, bouquets, wreaths, etc. to memorialize the person who has now passed away. Very good. That's their procedure. And that is fine. But don't bring that procedure in my procedure. There are many examples of that happening. An easy one. Watch how we crazy again, eh? Wait is crying at funeral for Nadira. Oh God, the person dead upon dead. My mother dead. Okay. How long a Hindu funeral should be? And the answer to that, not an hour, not a half an hour, fast as possible. You see the COVID method of a funeral? Why? The soul is all how. And we want to get this body like Parasad, get it into the fire so there's no contamination. I'm doing prayers here with this corpse, and there are souls that wish they could get help, people who die in secret, people who have gone through hardship because of poor prayer. For example, I put the God and the body on the same level, halfway prayer. I don't want to fast, I don't want to do the correct offering. So the soul is now lingering, it is suffering. So I hear up the road by Uncle Ram that it have a praise. So happened to be a funeral. The soul, for children, and they understand why I'm saying it like this. The soul is going to gravitate and come where this prayer is being done now. And he wants to get into the body so that the prayers, the things that are being put on the body, I'll be able to benefit from. Certain things are placed there to make sure no possession could happen in the process of doing the funeral. In that case, why delay? We believe the soul are going away into this lighter dear on the Khalsa. Soul, stay here. The soul come out the body. Watch how we crazy. Watch how we crazy, myself included. That is the soul come out the body. Poor soul, so confused. Where to go now, Pundit? I never dead before. As far as I can remember, if you understand what I'm saying to you. Should I go by the family in San Fernando? Should I go by the household in Florida? Should I go up the road by my good friend? He mind me, man. I should go there. No. The person lights a deer with the kalsa and the mango leaf saying, come here. Stay at this address. So the soul gravitates and come there. Hence, when the funeral going on, you put the prayed gut, the little kalsa in front of the coffin. And my example, mommy, watch it. Keshava, go in and do your puja. 1, 2, 3. You go see the body burn. Have closure. Get ready. It's time to move. So there's carry the kalsa and the diata as in the word creek or the burial ground. When the kalsa have to come back or lie back at home, you're telling the soul, still stay here, don't leave yet. When does the soul depart the house? On the Bandara D. That is when after all the prayers, the pundit is tell you out the deer. It is now time for mommy to leave. Why on the funeral day you're doing eulogy? What is eulogy? Eulogy is a nice reminiscence of what this person was and who they was, and you're telling the people things, memories. Remember, mommy used to make the best pepper roti. Remember, she was there for your wedding. Don't cry. Don't cry. Don't sing Pinjari, Kepanjiri, but don't cry. Talk those things, but don't cry. The problem is the soul is going away. You have a ritual to perform and a time to perform it. Do quick, stay stable, do the prayer. But when the Hindu heard the Christian do eulogy, the Hindu start to follow it. In our method, there's nothing called eulogy. In another way, people are contaminating. How do you corrupt people? Make them do the prayers wrong. Get into the book. Get into the practice. And you start to do stupid. Not somebody else doing it, you know. You start to do stupidness in your own prayers. Your prayers now start to have corruption. When you do a funeral wrong, when you do your bandara, your pitri offerings and things, and you hear somebody says, boy, we now do the wedding. Debt. We was going good. But after that funeral, nothing is going good. That feeling, that sensation is encapsulated by something called Pitra Dosh. Pitra Dosh is a sensation where the ancestors are not rested. For different reasons, it have 10 different types. children get sick, boy children dying, etc. So the person now has to go and make changes, corrective prayer, praschit karma, to fix it. When the person does wrong prayer and you start to catch a nen, what does happen? You see this Hindu thing? It's working in. Time to change. This I make it, and the prophet from Shagwana's gone Guyana, and he's telling them, you all are doing too much of Jambi and ghost worship. The spirits that you are praying to, because you're the one who put the dead man on the bed and all, offering all kind of things. You are praying. Sit down. You are praying to the dead. You see, ignorance, it's a powerful thing. And when the person doesn't know better, sit down, and the person is being accused of this, you will hear people who know better say, well, we don't pray to the spirit. We don't. But it looks that way. In this way now, Hiranyakashipu says in Kali Yuga, this is how people will get. The demon explaining this, you know. The demonic person is praying for the best for his family, and he home here, what Petradosh. He reminds the sister-in-law of what Yamraj says, don't do stupid things when you're praying for other people. Those souls have the ability, when somebody says, boy, I was able to be a successful person because my mother blessed me while she was alive, and when she died, I know my mother blessed me because I did the prayer correct. I did it to the T. I made sure that the timing of the Pinda offering was accurate. I did it with a good mind. I didn't say, oh God, I have to offer next Pinda, boy. I had to fast from the wife. I had to fast from me too, boy. You're sure we're bound to do all? We can't pull a shortcut. Principle of Indra Van Bihadilala Ki Jai. After he gave that long discourse, talking about, in this case, I am saying Ma'aji, on the craziness we just do currently in prayer, he used somebody's name, in all fairness, called Suyagya, where the family did the same type of corruption. What happens to Suyagya and what happened to the family is what he described to the sister-in-law. The sister-in-law now, you can imagine, I didn't love him too much. I'm not going to let my cry, imagine we stand up over the box. And you love the person? Don't cry and let your tears and fluid fall in that box. Yes, but yes, but I got to dry my eye and I got to stand up strong, and I wouldn't let that happen. In the moment, the lady does the same thing. Fight in the emotion. Strengthen yourself and do it correct. Only then Hiranyakashipu shut him out. He says, people get carried away. When you're sinful, people get lost in this thing called householder life. They think this is the whole thing, the whole life. It have nothing else. He says, dear sister, sister-in-law, when we have Swami Ganapati, who is an advocate, a guru of Dattatreya, but we don't get to hear too much the teachings of Dattatreya. Dattatreya says, amongst others, I have a guru, and I was taught by a pigeon, the normal bird. He says, the pigeon taught me, and I'm reciting Uddhav Gita. He says, the pigeon is the person who thinks my wife, my children, my nest is it. And he becomes so attached to that routine, that loving, that giving, that doing. It becomes his entire purpose now. One day the hunter came and caught the child in the nest, and he cannot move. He cannot jib. He cannot move on. He cannot see another day without this child or the physical nest. He don't know what to do. And the pigeon is that type of character. He will sit down patiently for the hunter to take him. And in the story, the hunter was not looking for the adult. The little one is the one you could sell or looks pretty. But the male stand up right here and just waiting to be caught because he gave up. What will I do without that child? That child is gone or dead. For example, sister-in-law, the male just waited for death. How many times you hear people say, when the lady dead, watch out, he got dead just after. A kind of grief. A different dismal type of giving up hope. The person does not think about after. Dear sister, think about after. You have to have a motive. You have to have a prayer. You have to have a methodology to appreciate the time that God gave you upon this earth. Prem se bolo Mahapati Mahadeva ki jai. When Hiranyakashipu gives this sister-in-law this type of lecture, she finished all the work for the husband. Everything was done. Hiranyakashipu saw them close off his prayer. And then when it was done now he could go back to his prayer, because he had to close off the prayer for his brother. So he started to do his vrat. He does it with faith, full faith. Me and you, we go do prayers and we'll get distracted. This person is praying with a purpose. And he does not want anything to interfere. Indra tries to test him, weather, rain falling, and this man is staying still. Me and you, if the phone ring, we move. We stop saying the Chalisa, total, forget the words. If that frame, if the phone ring, if a child say, Mom, immediately you stop. This is the person, a storm hitting them, lightning cracking, ants coming on top of their body. And Hiranyakashipu does not jib or move at all. The diligence in prayer is being practiced. So much so that the sun started to burn him to break the prayer. Because if a bad person becomes powerful, he just becomes more dangerous. And the devatas make a decision that we have to stop him. And no matter what, Varun, Agni, Surya, Chandrama, all of them were at different times using different methods to break his prayer, to stop him in his tracks. He was impervious. He kept on going. As time passed, he only was breathing. He was not breaking to eat or to sleep, etc. And Hiranyakashipu is the author of one of the most powerful prayer. When Brahma appears, he chants it and he begs that you who created what is called Om, or the Prana mantra, when the two atoms separate for the first from nothing, something is coming, creation starts. O you of goodness and godliness, Sattvic nature, today I bow to you. This is the verse where he says, please, please do not allow me, verse 35, 36, 37 of chapter 4, Skand 7. Do not allow me to meet my death indoors. Do not allow me to meet my death outdoors. Do not allow me to die during the night, during the daytime, by the hands of whether you, Shiva or Vishnu, or any existing form. Do not allow me to meet my death in the air or on the earth. Do not allow me to die in the sky. Do not allow me to die by a human being, or by a pure beast, or by a devta, or a serpent like Sheshnag, etc. Do not allow me to be killed by a dead or a roaming spirit. Do not allow me to become weakened by the forces of the weather. For example, one of the forces that we pray to, is the moon. The magnetic pull of that moon interferes with the direction when we are facing for puja, 1. 2, the moon is playing in your patra so much that if you ever hear somebody say you're moving like the moon, you're moody like the moon, when the moon is dark, the moon is at a little more distance, so it appears to be dark, but it's still there. When it's full moon, it looks big and rosy because it's a little closer, incremental. But when he gets closer now, the magnetism, the magnetic force is causing things like the ocean to become turbulent. So in the McDonald calendar, you will hear there are days when it is right to plant above ground or below ground, depending on the magnetic pull of this moon and the poles of the earth. These things are reflected in the patra. That magnetism interferes with the water and the water inside the body. So you will hear the gynecologist or the obstetrician, the OB-GYN say, listen, you're due on the 31st of this month. But moon is coming halfway. Look out, baby coming before. The moon affects the belly and early childbirth is happening more now in Kali Yuga than before. In our text, you will hear the girl pass the due date going up the road. The child is developing more in the belly. Now, in this time, One force of Kali Yuga is that you have more premature babies where they cannot breed. One of the telltale signs for a preemie baby is this misformed or poorly formed breeding apparatus, robbing the child of the ability to do more, to develop better, etc. He prays for now the same moon. When the person's body is filled with liquid, the magnetism of that moon will make, if I hit you today, the person laugh. Dark night. But when the moon come closer, I hit you, you get vexed or you start to cry. Hence the person says you're moody, you're changing your mood, your behavior, your reaction is changing just as the phase of the moon is changing. He called out and he says, don't let any natural gravity, any type of natural force such as the magnetism, it must have no effect on me. This is what I want. This is the purpose of what I am praying for. But what he didn't say is, I want to use it to damage good people. It is time now, when he gets the blessing, it is time now for him to seek revenge. And he goes behind the people who are praying and offering swaha in the fire, enforcing the offerings of Vedic lifestyle, Sanatan Dharma. These offerings go towards charging the devatas, the elements, the cycles upon the earth. He uses for 71 years, he uses his power to damage anybody who says prayer, making the devatas strong, do worship for Vishnu Baba. Remember, he is holding on to the past. He's holding on. He cannot forgive. He cannot forget. This person is grousing to Vishnu. He hates Vishnu. And now everything is suffering because the cycles of the earth, the carbon cycle, the water cycle, all this is suffering because it is broken. The food web, when the plants start to dry because there's no water, the cow can't eat the grass, the lion can't eat the cow, man can't hunt the animal to eat if they're eating meat. So with the food web collapsing, life collapses with it. For 71 years, this is what was happening until all the devatas and all the munis, all the sages come together, as we see in our TV shows, to go and beg Vishnu Baba for help. They put their head and they beg him ardently, please assist us in this fight. And it is said that when they were finished praying, they weren't in Vaikunth, they couldn't reach, they were too weak. Upon the earth, the Akash Vani, or the heavenly voice says, rest assured, I will come to help. I will come to destroy him. But he has Yada Deshu Putra Deshu Gaushu Viprashu Sadashu Dimam Mai Vishwashuha Yeva Ashu Vishwakarm Pat Ye Namo Namam. Vishnu Bhagwan ki Jai. He says that person called Hiranyakashipu has to attack his son first. When he does that, when he attacks his children, when he becomes like a venom to his own blood, and he creates that sin where, if you didn't know, we are touching on it now, the children of Hiranyakashipu will be Prahalad, Anulahad, Samlad, Halad, and the last one, a daughter, Simhika. When he attacks his own children, that will be the trigger for me to come and deal with him. Prem Sabalo Shri Vishnu Bhagwan ki Jai. He says, this is the history of how Hiranyakashipu is formed. You have to understand, O Parikshit, who is the bad. Then we will understand who is the good, Prahalad. Because the next question, as he said that, Guruji, how is it, Prahalad, if you are born as a demon, if my father is the big bad demon, well then I expect you to teach me demonic ways at a minimum. How is it a child could be born as if different, from darkness be born light, full of Vishnu and Vishnu's name, etc.? How could a person become so corrupted that you want to kill your own child now? What's the history there? Vishnu Bhagwan ki Jai. In our next session, this is where we continue. So we understand the history of the bad guy. How do bad people come about? And what you're hearing is karma. Karma is the root source. But it affects you and I when we do not know what we are doing. For example, Christian Pitié, RG Pitié, same level. Go to prayers, you'll see what I say. You will see it. From today in this Bhagwat, for those of you watching, whether you are the Shrota, whether you are the Pandit, do not make that mistake. Gita says you pray to spirit, go to spirit. What are you doing? You want to be spirit? We don't practice that. When you hear people talk about de-worship in the way that we used to do it long ago, where we copied the Spanish people, like from Laloon and Marac, from in Moruga. Plenty people see they do worship, to be quite frank, with children. This is not the blood. This is not Balidan offering. This is the method where they are taking salted biscuit and they are putting, children today will not know about this type of butter. Butter before it had fridge had a lot of salt in it to preserve it. So they will get it in a pan. People used to go and buy a pan of butter. And they will take that salty butter, paste the biscuit, and make a deal with the spirit of the land. I will give you what I eat. So the person eats one biscuit, they give the biscuit to the spirit. I take a drink of puncheon, and then they share it with the spirit. Please drink it. They pour it out in the prayer for the person. They take the cigarette, I smoke the cigarette, you smoke the cigarette. They leave it smoking in the prayer. That procedure, and there's a summary, that procedure comes from a time when we were on the boat coming. The Indian Hindu is exposed to the practice of the Spaniards. The Spanish people who brought those training, the idea of doing spirit worship so you could have progress, comes to Moruga in bulk in Trinidad because of the landing of the ship. The people offload, and the Christian sees it, the Orisha Baptist, the Baptist, and they, till now, wouldn't the Baptist take out a table, and on the table, when the Spirit tell them, I want this type of Hennessy, this type of blue label, black label, red label, brown cake, green cake, red cake, whatever, they have to please that Spirit. They will make that. There's no limit to the person when they ask for certain things, for certain ingredients in their worship. The Spirit has to be pleased. And in that mindset, they become very, very obedient. That I was asked by the forces, the spirits of the land, that this is what they require to be peaceful. So on that altar, they put whatever the Spirit asks for. In some cases, in that type of moaning, when they go into their astral trance, you will hear sexual practices. A woman chooses a man, a husband, in that moment. It has a whole science behind it, but it is not our science. We don't follow it. But what we do, we saw somebody offer it. The reason the biscuit come, when you're on the boat traversing from India to here, or wherever you are coming from, there was no refrigeration, there's no microwave. Rice and flour would not survive. One thing we don't really talk about in Indian arrival or emancipation holidays is the diet on the boat. What really would they eat? There's no fruit. You are at sea for 2 months, 3 months. There is no rice, there's no flour, there's no milk. What would you eat? What you have when the ship docks in the land and you come to the land now, and I want to be prosperous, I want to progress, I want to conquer the land. I don't want, when I start to cut the bush, snakes come out to meet me, which is a reflection of the Spirit. So the person is bartering in the, I am giving you this, give me easy passage. We don't pray like that. What we heard in our previous discourse in this Bhagwat, why do you offer the dirty, the earth, the milk? Why do you take out the lapsi that it is rest on the earth? When we hear the discourse with verse 2, where Brahma breathes out this Devta, and the Devta says, I'm hungry, you have to feed me. The person is told, when you are offering stuff on the land, I will eat that. He says, okay, deal, no problem. If they don't offer, he says, eat the energy of the people. Healing, finance, somebody always says, I'm doing prayers, I'll get back my barakat. Where your barakat going? It went because verse 2, or the energy of the land, took it away. We used to be calm. Now we argue a lot. When I do my prayer, for example, we talk about Bandara, and you have a big, nice bedi, why you don't put the food on the bedi? No, I take the food and I offer it all on the land. Accept it and bless us now to be clean. Bless us to be peaceful, healthy. Life goes on. We have to move on in this home. We've lost somebody. Vindra Van Bihadilala Ki Jai. For this reason, everybody, for those of you viewing, as I touch on this topic, when you have Bandara, when you have Shrad, even if somebody makes a mistake, because mistakes are made, and they say you have to put, I saw that pundit put the pitti on the bedi. Sorry, not in this house. No, not in my family. When we heard yesterday in that Narayan Kavach, the mantra that the pundit says, to create the ring. Am is the word for mango. But the mantra is calling kush grass. Kusha Setu Deva. Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwar sit on the person's hand as they do the prayer. But in Trinidad, when we didn't have the kush grass, we used the mango leaf. But there's no mantra calling on the mango leaf. So the person is saying one thing but doing something else. Whilst many people will say, well, you have to make the ring out of mango leaf, Baba. Good, until you know better. When you know better, you say, you know what, I got the kush grass, let's make the ring out of kush grass. And slowly you start to increase and improve the quality of your prayer. I'm just using 2 examples this morning. Prem Sabalo Vindra Van Bihadilala Ki Jai. Everybody, Hawan is done. Yeah? Let's all stand now as we bring the curtain down on this session of Bhagwat. As you stand, put your hand together. Christian Baba is in front of you. Have a little chat with him in your mind. Dear Lord, a Bhagwat is a place people go to get education, to gain knowledge about their dharma, about themselves, the things that we do, the things that my parents did. And I'm trying in that self-realization where I'm learning who I am and what I need to do. As I am learning about the flaws on my body, when I watch the Indian movie and the people is saying, sorry, me nehi ma kanakayo, oh meya modi, Christian held on to his earlobes and would pull it. That I wish I was smarter, ma. I made a mistake. The person is stretching the earlobe. It is a way of asking for forgiveness. I am too stupid. I am too uneducated. I should have known better. Sorry, ma, I shouldn't make the mistake. Please bless me that maybe this part of my body that shows the intelligence, help me to become smarter, never to make this mistake again. We don't hold with nose, we don't hold with chin, we just hold this earlobe. As I learn these things, and I'm understanding the message my God left in my body, as I'm understanding my prayer, as I'm understanding God realization, understanding God, how you work, what you look at, bless me to put it into practice. If I remember one iota of what was said today and in the past sessions, I could understand how Parikshit becomes so purified that he's given liberation. It seems as so much, but God, with this limited frame that I have, of the 100 points we heard in this session, bless me to recoil at least one. Bless me to put it into practice. If it is, I don't belittle people with their ears anymore. I'm not a bully. If it is, I'm not putting the dead person's pity on the altar. Whatever it is, in whichever way you improve, dear God, it is by your virtue and your blessing I had the ability, the time to sit and watch Pundit on the phone or to be here. If you didn't give me the time, I could have been sick in work or elsewhere. But because you have provided me the opportunity to be here, at this point when we're doing the arti, and it says when you stand and you see the murti being waved with this light, you get the blessing and the benediction as if you've done it yourself, as if I have offered the arti. Please accept this gift from me and bless me in my dark life, my ignorant self, with more light and knowledge. Help me to upgrade and continue to learn and better my relationship with you. Sajam cha varti sanyuktam grahina yojitam mayam deepam grihana devesham trilokya timidapaham. Go ahead with the
जय जय भागवत भगवान की है आरती पापियों को पाप से तारती जय जय भागवत भगवान की है आरती पापियों को पाप से ये अमर ग्रंथ ये मुक्ति पंथ ये पांचम वेद निराला नव ज्योति जगाने वाला ये अमर ग्रंथ ये मुक्ति पंथ ये पांचम वेद निराला नव ज्योति जगाने वाला हरि ज्ञान यही वरदान यही हरि ज्ञान यही वरदान यही जग के मंगल के आरती पापियों को पाप से जय जय भागवत भगवान की है आरती पापियों को पाप से तारती ये शांति गीत पावन पुनीत का को मिटाने वाला हरि दर्श दिखाने वाला ये शांति गीत पावन पुनीत कापो को मिटाने वाला हरि दर्श दिखाने वाला हे सुख करनी है दुख हरनी है सुख करनी है दुख हरनी ये मधुसूदन के आरती
Everybody.
पापियों को पाप से तारती जय जय भागवत भगवान की है आरती पापियों को पाप से तारती ये मधुर बोल जग पंथ कोल सन मार्ग दिखाने वाला बिगड़ी को बनाने वाला हे मधुर बोल जग पंथ कोल सन मार्ग दिखाने वाला बिगड़ी को बनाने वाला श्री राम यही घनश्याम यही श्री राम यही घनश्याम यही सबके महिमा के आरती पापियों को पाप से तारती जय जय भागवत भगवान की है आरती पापियों को पाप से तारती जय भागवत भगवान की है आरती पापियों को पाप से तारती पापियों को पाप से तारती पापियों को पाप से तारती
Dear Lord, thank you for another meeting. Thank you for another session. A time spent in listening to the history of our text and this book that encompasses truthfully the form of Lord Vishnu. Bhagwan, the true form of God, the knowledge that could bring about the blessings that I need in my everyday life. Dear Lord, as we spend today in this seventh scan, as we will learn different lessons, may you continue to bless your children here and those that are at a distance looking on via the different social media app. Bless all to get the help, the health that they are looking for. Together, everybody. Tvameva Mata
Chapita Tvameva Tvameva Vandusha Sakha Tvameva Tvameva Vandusha Swaminam Tvameva
Tvameva Sarvam
Mama Deva Deva
Tvameva
Sarvam Mama Deva Deva
Om Shanti
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 Hari Om
प्रेम से बोलो महापति महादेव की पवन पुत्र हनुमान की श्री आदि शक्ति माता की वृंदावन बिहारी लाल की जय सत्य सनातन धर्म की जय 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 सीताराम सीताराम everybody please have your seat prasad charan amrit arti coming around for everybody and please step outside and have something. These children were cooking all morning. We'll restart our next session shortly as they make preparations for puja. This morning, this session went a little beyond because of the type of havan we did with the chowsat. That langula, or the prayer to Hanuman Baba to destroy evil with his tail. If you would like a copy of that, send me a WhatsApp. My number is listed all over, and I could send it for you so you could hear it. I could send you a copy. It's a powerful prayer to remove unrighteousness and evil in any form. Everybody has trouble, and we need potent prayer to get that help. And if we are at a distance, there are definitely ways you can help yourself. When you have the knowledge, you have that God in your vision, bad has to move. Where there's light, there cannot be bad. God bless you, everybody, and we'll be starting back shortly.